you didn't mean that. Look at somebody and tell them, resolution and recovery. I know you want to see it under my soul. Yes, God, don't do that, auntie. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that kind of stuff. You don't do that kind of stuff. Hallelujah. Because we are Pentecostal. Yeah, don't do that kind of stuff. Yeah. Don't do that kind of stuff. I know you want to see it under my soul. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Well, we give you praise and glory.
I know you want to see it under my soul.
Hallelujah.
Yes, God.
Yes, God. We give you praise and
We
glory.
don't move in the fashion that He wants us to move tonight, because what's already been declared that the Holy Ghost is going to navigate this thing. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I
Yes, Lord.
got a feeling
Yes.
that everything's gonna be alright.
Yes.
Got a feeling everything's gonna be alright. Now somebody just open your mouth and give God praise. Hallelujah. We bless God tonight for round 2. Hallelujah. We thank God for our apostle being in the house tonight, the visionary of our Family Life Conference, the senior pastor of our Place of Worship Church. Let's make some noise for Apostle Lord. Let's give God praise for him. We bless God for Pastor Tracy. Pastor Tracy, where elder, where the angels of this house. Hallelujah. For my auntie and my uncle. We honor God for Pastor Kamisha tonight. My auntie and Apostle Howard in his absence tonight. Amen. Our mothers here tonight, our church mothers. Amen. All of the elders, to my lovely wife who will be coming from work. Amen. Amen. To you, and you. But you know what I'm happy to see tonight? That the PKs and the CKs is in place. Amen. And we ready to get our reward. Amen. Amen. Listen, Apostle's going to come with the... Okay, bless God. I want to be in order. Amen. Well, we know that tonight, last night was... Go ahead, sit down. Last night was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Healing took place. Deliverance took place. Love took place. There was a great impartation in this place. Amen. Amen. And I believe everybody left here full. Amen. Amen. So we thank God for those of you that didn't think it robbery to come out tonight for round 2 of the Family Life Conference. Amen. Amen. And we just bless God because we know that he's going to do a mighty thing. Tonight I'm going to ask my panel to come on and help me tonight. Amen. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Come on, my panel. Come on, y'all. Yeah, let me have that mic. That's going to stay for the audience. Amen. Amen. We bless God. Amen. We bless God. Amen. Let me get over this slide over here. Amen. Y'all make some noise for the panel today. Amen. In the building. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Amen. Tonight it's going to definitely be intense. Amen. Because I believe that everybody on the panel got something to say. Amen. Amen. And tonight we know that anything goes, but I'm just a true believer that the reason we come to church is to find resolution. It's supposed to be our safe haven. It's supposed to be our place where we can find comfort when we can't find it amongst friends, when we can't find it amongst the world. It's supposed to be the place that we come and we are able to have an experience that teaches us how to deal with these natural bodies. Amen. Come on now. Because I only know that we are spirit trapped in flesh. Amen. And yeah, we know all the rules and all of the bylaws and we know all of that stuff, but we trapped in flesh. Amen. Amen. And how many know that it's a very difficult thing being a PK and a CK? When Apostle, when the Lord gave him this vision, he said, we can't just do the PKs, which are the preacher's kids for those of you that are watching. Amen. Meaning your mama or your daddy is an elected official in the kingdom. Amen. Amen. But the CKs are those who your mama or your daddy is a proficient churchgoer. Meaning, you know, you were raised up like me where we went to church every day of the week. I don't even see this generation don't really have to worry about it, but I think it probably stopped with us. But it was Monday through Sunday. Amen. Yeah, you woke up in church. You went to sleep in church. That's right. You did your homework in church. Amen. Amen. You did everything in church. Amen. You had football drills, you did them in the back. Amen. You back there doing your foot shuffling. Whatever you need to do, you did it in church. Amen. Because they came up in a way where they felt like church was the answer to everything. Amen. And some of us were damaged by the process. The process, because the process didn't have a balance to it. All right. Amen. You were in this place where you were told that you had to do everything a certain way, at a certain time. Amen. And there was no room for error. Amen. You had to be holy and righteous. But ain't it something how the people that was conveying it to you didn't really have it down packed themselves. Praise the Lord. Amen. Amen. And so one thing I come to find is that the PKs and the CKs, they deal with a lot. And this is a generation that's very vocal. They'll tell you, hey, that ain't right. Whereas generations prior would talk to, hey, be quiet, be seen, and not heard. Amen. But this generation said, no, we got to say something because people are suffering in silence. People are committing suicide. People are dying. People are doing, people are out of control with this. And so tonight I believe God is going to bring clarity, and He's going to allow us to walk into resolution. Amen? Amen. Amen. So tonight, before I get started, I am Pastor Murray Duffy. Amen. Senior, praise the Lord. Amen. And I am the son of Apostle Juan the Lord, and I am the son of Evangelist Murray Lee Spencer. Amen. And so I'm a PK from the heart. Amen. From the long way. I grew up in prayer meetings where it's Saturday and your friends outside playing, but you in the house with the blinds closed, calling on Jesus. Amen. I grew up where vacation Bible school wasn't an option. You went to vacation Bible school. I grew up, the hard way. Yeah, I was birthed out of University Holy Ghost Theology Outreach Mission. Amen. Yes, indeed. Well, none other than the Bishop John R. Bradley. Amen. And Bishop Pearl R. Bradley. Amen. Was the pastors. Amen. And so I bless God for my experience, and we're going to dig into it a little tonight, but I'm going to start at the end, and I want everybody to just introduce themselves.
My name is Xavier Jericho. I'm 21 years old. Deacon at a place of worship, about to get ministered real soon.
All right.
I grew up in the church. I'm a CK, church kid. I'm a preacher kid, but almost a preacher kid pretty much. Mama to the church every Sunday, every Tuesday or Wednesday for Bible study, vacation Bible school, you name it, lock-ins, everything. So that's who I am.
Hey everybody, I'm Minister-elect Nikki. I'm not really a preacher's kid, but I am the niece of an apostle. And my grandmothers always sent me to church every Sunday, so I don't have the experience of every day going to church growing up, but I do have the pressures of being a pastor's niece.
Amen. Amen.
My name is Alexis Baker. I'm 22 years old. I am the daughter of Pastor Tracy Ware.
Amen.
And to sum all of that up, my whole life was church, school, home.
That's it.
How everybody doing tonight?
All right.
Y'all too dry. How everybody doing? What I'm talking about. I am Jaden Baker. I am the son of Pastor Tracy Ware. I am 20 years old, going on 30. I ain't gonna talk. We gonna dig in. Let's do it.
All right, you ready? See, that's what I'm talking about. You ready? All right, so we got balanced energy. Come on.
I know I always say that, but I'm the son of Pastor Howard. I ain't go to church every day, but when my mom was in church, we was in church. So, that's why she made it fun. She didn't make it optional, but she made it wasn't like how he grew up in church. She made it fun. She always made sure we had something to do. She did play the drums. And that really caught my attention. So.
Yeah. All right. How many PKs or CKs do we have in the audience? All right, hamburger. I like that. I ain't heard that in a long time. All right, we got a lot of them in here. Amen. Any stragglers? I mean, you just caught on. Okay. Praise the Lord. Praise that's all right. Wow. Hey, welcome. Welcome. Praise the Lord. Well, we're gonna dig right into it. It's so much to address, and I know that everyone, it's gonna all come together because, like I said, the Holy Ghost is navigating this thing now. But I'm gonna throw a question out there. Many times when you look at PKs and CKs, you automatically see this image, and a lot of times it doesn't reflect that of which the leader of the house is. So I want to ask a question: why do and we're gonna open it up to them later. But why do PKs and CKs have a bad rep? Oh, go ahead.
I think it's because I I had always been a PK, you know what I mean? My mom just became a pastor like 4 years ago, so I used to see other pastor children, and I feel like people just put them up on the big pedestal to be a perfect child. I never did it. Right. But they still normal kids who gonna make normal mistakes.
Right. That's right.
I think that's the most misconception.
Right.
He probably summed it.
I agree.
He probably really summed it up.
Microphone. Keep the mics on.
Excuse me. Yeah, he summed it up really. They put us on a pedestal, so they expect our sin to be less than everybody else's sin.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get in trouble, it's worse than you getting in trouble or a normal kid getting in trouble. Right. So I just feel like if they took us off of the pedestal, we'll be alright. We'll be alright.
You'll find out I fit with everybody else.
Right.
What I'm doing is no different. But who I'm connected to has elevated.
It's judgmental. The church has become very judgmental.
Amen.
Yeah.
So when it does come to you hear a lot of preachers be like, oh, your child bad. I don't take my child bad. Your child over there playing in the Clorox and messing up chairs and crying, making all this noise.
Right.
But since I'm a PK, I ain't supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
A child gonna be a child regardless.
Right. Amen.
Right. We're supposed to make mistakes. That's how we learn.
That's how we learn.
Amen.
I agree with both of my brothers, and I also want to say another reason why we have a bad reputation is because when, like, not even us, or when other PKs or CKs mess up, they gonna blame everybody in the church now. So now all of us bad, you know, give it the bad rep.
So guilty by association.
Yeah.
I personally feel like PKs have a bad rep because I think sometimes the saints forget that they weren't saved all their lives. And to get you over so you can know God for yourself. And my mom used to tell me and Jada's teachers all the time, I wasn't saved all my life and I don't expect my children to be.
Right.
They are children and they're going to act like children. And here I am their mother, not their pastor.
Well,
Oh, I like that.
well, that sounded like two snaps and a twist to me. But you know what? Most PKs and CKs, they never get the opportunity to be human first.
Right.
Because you're born into it. You're born, everything, I'm saying the same thing that y'all said, but you're born into it. It's kind of like the royal child, right? Like you're born into it. You can't mess up. Don't marry nobody outside of, outside of these walls. But before you can learn to be church, kingdom, you first must learn how to fail and succeed.
Right.
You first must learn how to be human, how to exist, how to feel, like how to have real emotions. Because they believe because you're PKC, you ain't supposed to date, you ain't supposed to like nobody, you ain't supposed to wear any type of thing, because it's who I'm connected to.
Right.
And a lot of times we don't understand what we're connected to. And what we're connected to, being mama, daddy, or that has birthed us, doesn't understand how to process us and separate us from all of the noise. So we're born into the fire, if you will. We're born in the hot seat. Don't mess up. If you do it, it's, oh my God, it's, like you said, it's 10 times wrong. But if they do it, oh, they'll be all right.
Right.
And I don't think that's fair.
Right.
I believe that there are unfair standards that are placed on our heads.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure too. Because it's like people are expecting you to be perfect. They're expecting you to look a certain way, sound a certain way. Like me being the niece of an apostle, when I get up to preach or to say something, it's like people already expecting a sound out of me that's coming out of him when I have my own sound.
Yeah.
God has given me my own sound, but they're expecting to hear him. When they see me dressed, they're expecting me to dress like him. So it's also the pressure that they're putting on us as well.
Right. And so, okay, let me come to you. Go ahead. I'm going to come to you.
Well, I was just going to say, one thing that I always tell people is that our children are not us.
Right.
Amen. So don't expect my children to be me. Amen. Because I had the process to be where I am. I had to fail, succeed. I had to learn. And that's what our children have to go through.
Right.
So don't judge my children because of where I am. And don't judge me because my children are not where I am.
Right.
Because they judge the parents too.
Right. You know what? It's funny. The other day, my son was walking. I'm gonna come over here and just give her the microphone. My son put on my shoes, and he was smiling and put on my shoes. And I said, "Don't worry, son. I'm gonna teach you how to walk in your shoes. You don't have to walk in mine. You have to walk in mine because my shoes could kill you.
Right.
Because even as a 3-year-old toddler, I understand as a father, if he grows up and mimics you and models you, that's cool. But let that be something he comes into on his own.
Right.
Don't let that be something that he's forced into.
Right.
Don't let that be something that he feels like, I have no choice but to do this because my daddy doing this. How many people know, and before I ask that question, because I don't want it to shift, I want to hear what you have to say.
I think it's stereotypical. People don't understand that just like we learn, they learn the same thing.
Right.
So you can't differentiate
Right.
the two.
Right. Before I come to you, because I'm coming to you, no, give it to her, but I want to say something in between. One thing that I realize and that I've learned is that it seems like every generation forgets that they once were.
Right.
And y'all hear the term, and watch this. This thing is broader, so I always tell people, this is life. When it comes to the music, what do we say? Oh, I remember we had real music.
Yes.
We did.
Right? All right, but watch this though. It was real. Watch this. It was real to you. But and then I remember, I'm finna come right here. I remember when our fashion was better than that. I don't know what these kids wearing.
Yeah.
And so we learned to turn into hypocrites.
Yeah.
Because we forget that our hairstyles was wild too.
Okay.
Bell bottoms didn't start. Now, bell bottoms. No, but watch this. People talking about, they wearing these skinny jeans now. Bell bottoms just be tight at the top and loose at the bottom. And you had a shirt open, probably with one button on it. A loud shirt with a bunch of chains. They called it the Tony Curtis or the Pretty Tony. And so the pretty Ricky. And so we learn to be hypocrites. And it's easier to say, look what y'all doing. Like drugs just got here in this generation. Go ahead, before we move, because I don't want it to shift. I want to hear your thoughts.
With Pastor Commission. Our children, you said our children are not us. Yes, they are. We have elevated, but we forgot that they got those habits, they got those traditions, they got them from us. And see, we get saved and sanctified and get selective amnesia. But our children, like I was looking at my daughter and I was saying, you got a nasty attitude. But then I had to remember where she got it from. Wow.
Right.
And we elevate, but we don't know how to bring our children into where we are now. And we criticize them and we talk about it. Let me tell you something. You're going back to the bell bottom. I can take you further back than that. I can take you back when they was putting lye on their head and they had to stick their head in the toilet too because that lye was burning. But we talk about the children now. But our children are us.
Right. And just to say that, I agree with you. I know she was talking about the process, meaning they are us, but their process is going to be different. So, like for example, my son may be a pastor, but he may come to it totally different. He may never go to the streets like I was in the streets. He may come straight up, see my daddy walk in a straight line. For example, I love my nephew because he's not forced to be this praiser that y'all see him. It's authentic. He sees it, he models his father, and he said, my father's a stand-up man, he loves God, that's how I want to be. And he may never touch a lot of stuff, even though his daddy didn't touch a lot of stuff, but he may do it all the way even more right. You understand what I'm saying? So I think she was speaking to the process, but I agree that they are us, but the process that everyone goes through, it will be different. You have something you want to say?
I want to also say that a lot of times between Mother Clotilde and all that we're saying, our children are us. but we are not responsible for the decisions that our children make. Whether or not we make them that way, we all have a right. Bible says He gave us a free agent, free will. We can serve Him or we choose not to serve Him. RJ dances and stuff, but let me tell you the truth of the fact, Ryan was no dancer at first. Ryan just jumped on the dance bandwagon a few months ago. I've been doing this for him since Skip was a puppy. But RJ began to see those of us. And Pastor Murray is right about him looking up to his dad. But RJ made a decision. And that's what I want to point out in our conversation tonight. Our children makes their own decisions. We as parents gonna raise our kids, and we know that the apple don't fall too far from the tree, but we try to figure out where did you fall from. Because sometimes what we as parents do to our kids, our parents didn't do that to us.
That's right. That's right.
I have never called my children no B word.
Okay. You better
Now I came up where everybody called each other children B words. But I made a choice not to call my child. So it was a choice decision not to ever use it. And I try not to use that when I'm with children. These babies I've been known for years can never say that they heard me call them out of their name. Because I made a choice. So as kids, we make choices. As young adults, we make choices.
So, good thought. You want to add something to that? Okay, let's go over there, and then I want to take it in a direction that's interesting, and touch on something that ties a lot of what we're saying together. Go ahead.
Piggyback off of Apostle, I am a PK's grandchild. So, at the age of 25, I got pregnant. Was not married. I wasn't even living in the state of Georgia, but I came home because I wanted to be around my mother, to learn how to be a mother and for her to help me. So I come back, and I was made to be at church as an example, to sit in the back, to be seen and not heard. Then to say, you need to get up before the church and apologize for your sin. And that's where I drew the line, because you didn't have to make me come to church. I grew up in it. I loved it. I just loved being around the saints and watching them give God glory. Even how they dress, from their mannerisms to their attitude. But when they said I had to stand before the church and apologize, I said, I draw the line. The church wasn't with me when I laid down in that bed. You weren't there. I wasn't in this. I made that choice. I made that decision. Because now I'm 25 years old. But we were we were put on pedestals to be examples of what children were not supposed to do in church. You couldn't fall. You couldn't wear red. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. And your grandfather is the pastor, so you got to be an example. And that's how they even brought it to me when they wanted me to stand before the church. You got to be an example. Now show them what. So finally, my grandfather said, the old way is over.
All right.
Leave her alone. He said, did you ask God to forgive you? Tears in my eyes. Yes, sir, I did. He said, that's all that matters. He said, so let's break this. Let's break this cycle. He said, because even so, something Mother Clotilde said, I was grown. Wasn't living in my mother's house. And I made a decision. I didn't lose that virginity until way after I graduated high school. So it was, but we were made to come to church. My sisters were, I wasn't. I was just, hey, I want to go. But I was glad when they said, let's break this. Because now I didn't have to feel like I had something. I had to live up to something. You felt like you couldn't make mistakes. You had to walk a straight line. You couldn't teeter nor totter. You couldn't weeble nor wobble. It's either straight or nothing.
That's good. Come on, cuz I'm gonna come to you and then I'm
just real quick. This is just like a prime example.
Take your time.
But when I was going through school, I'm gonna just be honest. I got a lot of trouble in school. You know, I got but not to talk down on my dad. I love my mom and my dad, but my dad wasn't always there, so he always trying to make it seem like, oh well, he do this, he get kicked out of school because what she ain't doing, what she not doing. But it was never what she wasn't doing. Because I always taught, even though before my mom was saying and stuff like that, she ain't always sit and busy, never how to respond to stuff. But she always taught us that you don't do what I do, you a child. This is right, this is wrong. Even when I'm wrong, I'm still wrong. So when I went to school and did stuff wrong, it wasn't that, oh, my mom ain't teaching me or I don't know better. Right. It was just like, I'm doing it anyway. Yeah. Right. It wasn't that my mom, people used to always be like, oh, he ain't got no home training. That wasn't what it was, because I knew it was wrong. Come on, right. And I never used to understand why my mom used to be like, you always up there embarrassing. You always up there embarrassing. I be like, what? What you talking about? But it's like, when you do that, it make it look like that she not doing her part, which ain't true. Because the rest of my brothers and sisters did it. I just chose not to do it. I chose to do what I want to do. That's what I had to explain right there. And, you know, but like now when we in church and stuff, she always say, well, do this. What you do out there is really your business, but while you around here, this is what you need to do. Right. She don't judge it. Right. She ain't always been there. Right. You know, so and she don't expect us to be there. Like my mom say gospel, I rap. Right. But she don't make me feel bad about it. Right. Right. She don't, I was doing that before she was same gospel. Right. So, you know, it's just like everybody make their own decisions. Yeah, but that's tough. Let me tell you something. So look. Okay, only because you my aunt. I can't pass up the royal apostle. After apostle though, I want to say something. Trust me, the floor gonna still be open. I promise you all. We're gonna talk tonight.
Right. I grew up. My father was the bishop. He was an apostle. My mother was first lady. She was prophetess. And I'm gonna be honest. I did. When I was in high school, I did what I wanted to. I got in trouble. Never with the police. But with teachers and things of that nature. Sure. And I did it because I got tired of people looking at the pastor's children and expect them to line up with what the pastor, or with the way the pastor is living. Let me tell you something. I graduated high school 17 years old. 2 girls pregnant at the same time. One of them was a member of my father's church. She was made to stand up and you know, testify in front of the church, and you know, she couldn't do nothing. Nothing was said or done to me. But I took it upon myself to stand up and apologize to the church and let them, don't blame my daddy for this. My daddy is his own man. I'm 17 years old. I'm out of high school. I'm doing my own thing. And I did it because I was tired of people expecting us to live a certain way.
Okay. See, now let me tell you what I like about that. And that's what I like about this room. Is because everybody has a different process. But there are different things that link us. Some of us, we feel like we're very conscious and aware to the decisions that we make. We make them out of frustration, to prove people wrong, or just to make mama the mad. You know what I'm saying? For whatever the case may be. But others can deal with it where it could be generational.
That's right.
And so watch this. So I want to just mention a movie, a show that we all like and love, a lot of us. A show called Power. Yeah, that's my show right there. Let me talk to you corner folks.
Don't judge me.
And so, in the show Power, you got Ghost and you got Tasha, right? And they these kingpins, basically, right? But they have children. Their children know nothing about their kingpin life. Their children grow up to be perceived as privileged, which they are. But they don't know mom and daddy pushing that work. Daddy pushing it, and mama cleaning it, huh? You understand what I'm telling you? Mama is on the books. All these years go by and the kids grow up into their teens and it seems like all is well, but now Tariq starts to act out. This isn't a matter of just choice. This is something genetic happening. Because now Tariq starts to lie. And he can't really explain why he lying. Now Tariq starts to rebel. And he can't really explain why he rebelling. Because it even feels good. Because when mom and daddy living that life, it felt good. Right? And now it gets to the place where Tariq gets in knee deep. He even started to roll like his daddy. I mean, he started just like his daddy. Doesn't know anything about what his daddy ever did. He knows his daddy to be a stand-up individual. Businessman. Suit tie. Woo! Ghost. You never catch him. You don't see him coming. You don't see him leaving. And you never catch his fingerprints at the scene. Huh? But watch this. It gets so bad that Tariq gets his sister killed. So now not just lying, rebelliousness, stubbornness, now murder creeps in the camp. All traits that his mom and daddy deal with. Because his mom and daddy been a liar since day one. His mom and daddy been murderers from day one. Cleaning up the murders. Huh? His mom and daddy been kingpins from day one. And so many times, the thing that I want to help us with today is that stuff don't just happen. It's not osmosis. Things happen for a reason. There are connections and things that link you to decisions that you make. Everybody ain't just everybody don't just got bad attitudes. And everybody don't just suffer with the spirit of depression. And everybody don't just suffer with anger and all of these different things. These things come from somewhere. But we learned in church and in life how to mask them so well. And we figure if you don't say nothing about it, sweep it under the carpet, it ain't gonna do nothing. But what happens when my mama and daddy's lie wake up in my future and become my truth? Truth is the name of the club in the show. What happens when my mama and daddy's demons wake up in my future and become my truth? Now I'm dealing with what is called a generational curse. And many of us in this room suffered from it. Some of us didn't know it. Some of us grew up to know it. My father, he always talked about how he come from where they cut cards and where they dealt with witchcraft. So he had a witchcraft background. But it wasn't until he understood, okay, I ain't supposed to be doing that he was able to break away from it. It's so many things. Most of our families dealt with perversion. Dealt with incest, dealt with so many things swept under the carpet, and you wondering why you're dealing with what you're dealing with. And so the Lord took me to a scripture. He took me to 2 Samuel 12 and 11. And this is when David slept with Bathsheba. And what I love about it is that David hid it. Because now I'm going to take y'all to the Bible, because y'all thought I only knew power. But let me tie power to the Bible.
Go ahead and fool me, Trey.
So, David had a baby outside of wedlock. But if he was doing what a king should have done, he would have never been in the wrong place at the right time. And then, because he really wanted to hide it, he tried to make his homeboy, who was a loyal servant, sleep with his own wife so he can cover it up. But he said, no, I'm too loyal for that. So David said, well, I'm going to kill him then. So now David kills him. So he's continuing to hide. When they say, once you tell one lie, you got to keep telling another. And many of us have dealt with that, and we come from lineages of that, where it's not that you're just acting out by having chance. The lie is coming alive on you. The lumpy carpet is now become too unstable for you to walk on. Because see, if you walk on trash long enough, it'll flatten out. But if you keep putting trash on it, it'll no longer have the ability to be flat. David tried to hide and conceal it. Watch this. And I'm going to read this for y'all here. Because I want y'all to know that everything that we go through, the Bible backs it up. So David tried to hide it, and he think he got away with murder. He got away with getting a woman pregnant. He stole another woman's wife, and he think he's just going to be the king, and he's going to be the servant of the Lord. Don't nobody know, don't nobody ask, don't nobody tell, won't nobody get hurt. So the prophet comes to him, Nathan. He said, oh king, you've been called. But I'm going to just skip all the way down to verse 11 when it talks about what God says to David. He said, this is what the Lord says. Out of your own household, I'm going to bring calamity on you. Before your very eyes, I will take your wives and give them to one of your closest sons to you. And he will sleep with your wives in broad daylight. I
I love this part right here, verse number 12. You did it in secret, but I'm going to do this thing in broad daylight before the people.
Yep. That's great.
See, what we learned how to hide, God said, the eyes of the Lord are everywhere, beholding the good and the evil. What you don't deal with now, I'll wake it up in your seed.
That's right.
So not only did David have to suffer the loss of his infant child, he had to suffer with one of his sons raping his own daughter. Then he had to suffer with his other son sleeping with his wives in public. Then he had to suffer with his son trying to take his throne. And people say, oh, but he killed his son. Don't mess with your daddy, he a man of war. But you got to forever live with the stain that your legacy is tarnished. Because you was not responsible enough to deal with it when you had the opportunity. And so, yeah, you killed him, but that blood is on your hands. And that rape is on your hands. And the death of your child is on your hands. So sometimes as parents, it feels like, oh, I got them under control because they're my seed and I'm the adult and they the child. But guess what? Eventually, one day, what took your worst nightmares gonna wake up when your daughter now contemplates suicide. Don't say you don't know where it came from. What you did in secret is now being exposed openly. And what we've come to find is that this is called a generational curse. And the Bible says that the curses of your father shall be upon you up to 4 generations. And so this isn't something we can just shake. Yeah, we have choices. But until my mind understands that this is a choice, there are many people that suffer psychologically and suffer from that thing called DNA. And they can't explain it. They don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. But it's happening and it's real in my life right now. Because something went undone. Because something went unsaid. Because something happened that was tried to be swept up rather than be dealt with. And so here we are in this Family Life Conference, and God is trying to get us to understand how to break the curse. The truth will set you free. No lie, no good deed, no lie will ever be able to be hidden. Even if you survive it, it's going to wake up down the road. And it's imperative that we learn that many of our PKs, many of our CK, and many children in life are dealing with mamas and daddies' deeds. Everybody don't want to be bad people. Because watch this, I'll prove it to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to rewind back to power. Tasha and them trying to figure out what's wrong with Jericho. They tearing the house up. Ghost want to kill him. Everybody upset. We all mad at him, all the viewers. I can't stand him. But finally, Tasha has a coming to Jesus moment. And she tells Jericho the real. Baby, this is what we did. Jericho breaks down this hard. Boy, just like his daddy, don't flinch. Breaks down crying and tells her now what she needed to know. Because one truth begets another truth. The only way we can unfold and break generational curses is we got to let the truth in. And the last time the Bible declares that Christ is the way, the truth, and the light. And we must continue to shine the light on our dark issues rather than hide our issues, thinking that we're going to get away. Thinking that it won't wake up in our children's children's children. And now your daughter and your son are confused. They're depression. They're oppressed. They're contemplating suicide every day. They're doing wild things. It don't even make sense, the stuff that they're doing. Because they're trying to fulfill a void that's missing. They're trying to get an answer to a lie. Because when I look at a pulpit, I'm told one thing. But I see opposite.
Right.
And we can say all day, do as I say and not as I do. No. Your mother said it. We are you. We are you. We are you. I'm your bad attitude. I'm that anger issue you still got with your mama. I'm that anger issue you still got with your daddy. The reason why my marriage won't work is because none of your
suffer because you deal with that thing called pride. And that thing called pride is the very thing that's keeping your seed from being free. Because all they wanted to hear was, good job, son. Good job, baby. My son broke a glass one day, and my godson looked at me. He said, and the whole house froze. He said, boy, if that was my mama, she would have told me up. I said, everything doesn't deserve a chastisement. I broke stuff before. I broke stuff before because I realized he's me. He's me. And when we begin to realize that, a lot of us parents got to go back to the drawing board. Watch what we can't do, Pastor Ryan. We can't undo it. But by shedding the light on it and begin telling the truth, we now begin to go against the grain and we now begin to decode the curse. We now begin to decode the curse. I'm going to come over here and now I'm coming to you, Mother, right behind you, Apostle Howard. Sister wanted to say something.
Hi, my name is Prophetess Townsend. I am a bishop's daughter. And coming up, I always knew I was a black sheep. And at the age of 13, I went to the streets. And in the streets, I sold drugs. I could make counterfeit money. I could change your birth certificate, get your new social security card. I had a 25-year to life sentence for murder. I mean, I had full-blown kidney failure. I mean, I have full-blown cancer. I've been shot twice, stabbed 3 times. I jumped out the 3rd floor running from the feds. Had my own strip club. You name it, I did. It wasn't nothing that I could not do. And I felt that I was untouchable. You couldn't look at me wrong because I would cut your throat and keep it moving. You see what I'm saying? And I always knew because everybody, oh, you the bishop's daughter, or you this and you this. But the more they told me that, the more I rebelled. Because when I rebelled, I felt better. I felt like I was able to find myself. Because my dad has his own identity. And I got my own identity. And all my life, even when I was born at 6 months, I was kidnapped away from my mother. I didn't know my mother was an alcoholic. I did not know that. I did not know that my father was messing with her best friend. I didn't meet my real mother till I was 16. By then, I was too far gone and out there. I was sniffing coke at the age of 13. I was a kingpin in New York. You could not touch me. I was moving keys. There's nothing you could say to me. I come across New Jersey Turnpike with $15,000 in my glove compartment and keys of coke under my car. And they're waiting for me coming across the turnpike. And when I come across the turnpike, the DEA right there. And they pulled me out the car in the blizzard, had me sitting out there for a long time. And then the head DEA agent came up and said, "Aren't you Pop's daughter?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Let it go." I mean, I had a laser on my chest. They was actually trying to kill me. I had 150 bullet holes in my Suburban, going down the highway, shooting at people trying to kill me. But I always knew who I was, but I rebelled. You see what I'm saying? You can't tell me that who I'm supposed to be. Let me find out for myself who I am. I'm not my father. There's 15 of us. I'm not my sisters. And I used to tell them, yo, listen, if I go to church, the whole church gonna burn down. Because I was in too much mess. And then I had the pastor coming about coke for me. But then you want to sit up in the pulpit and try to preach a word to me. But then in church, you coming about coke for me? Are you serious? And I was the one who didn't care. I didn't care what you thought about me. Because what I did was what I did. And before I did it and got home, my mom and dad already knew what I did. You know what I'm saying? My mom and dad used to be like, you're going to be dead or in jail before you're 16. I said, well, if that's my life, that's my life. You know what I'm saying? But they couldn't tell me where I'm supposed to go. So I took that road because I had to take that road. Because if I had not taken that road, I wouldn't be here today to tell you all that God is good. You see what I'm saying? 15 years of life sentence. As a matter of fact, in 2013, my books was published. In June 2013, I went back to jail again for defending myself here in Georgia. In August, they come and pick me up because the state picked up the charges. Okay? I went to jail all the way till September. And then September the 9th, they let me go, which they wanted to keep me. Now they got me on probation. Let me tell you something about God. When God got an assignment for you, can't no jail hold you, can't no hold you. You see what I'm saying? And I told them I'm still thugged out. But I'm thugged out for Jesus.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? I did good for the devil, but I'm going to be better in Jesus.
Yeah. There you
know
go.
What I'm saying? People look at me and judge, and they look at us and the judge. We got the tattoos, we got the scars, we got all of this stuff going on. But let me see what you got. What's in your closet? What's in your closet? Because we're the ones who gonna bring the next generation in for real.
Right.
Because we're gonna be real about this thing.
That's right.
I've been that drug dealer. I've been that dope pusher. I've been that madam. I used to be in D.C. I had girls in Foxy's. I had girls in Macombos. I had girls at the Penthouse. You name it, I had girls there. And do not play, because I would shoot you. Went to jail in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. When the police came and got me, they found me with a gun in my hand. I did not move because I was trying to kill them for real. And they let me go.
Oh, wow.
I was nothing to play with. But when people instead of put you in an identity of your mother or your father or your family, you know what I'm saying? My dad used to say, well, I used to get high, but
and you don't know who they are.
Yeah, exactly. They come to church and they give us a fake praise and they give us a fake hallelujah and all this crap, and they ain't been through nothing.
Right.
If you ain't never been homeless, if you ain't never been out there, if you ain't never had no food to eat, if you ain't never had a roof over your head, you can't tell me nothing.
I say it all the time.
You see what I'm saying? If your kids ain't never went to bed with just drinking water, you can't tell me nothing.
That's it.
I stood on God. When God told me to come to Georgia, I came to Georgia. I left everything with 2 pair of pants and my 4-year-old. And I said, God, why do I got to go to Georgia? He said, many pastors have destroyed my vineyard and scattered my sheep. I said, well, what am I to do? He said, just be you and bring them back to the fold. So the ones that they think they're going to be used, that ain't what he's looking for. He's looking for the ones that are rough on the edges. The ones that have been through some stuff. You know what I'm saying? The ones that's really going to be real, because these young kids now, they want to hear real.
They want, let me tell you something. First of all, your entire testimony is probably, we up here talking about, we just got to touch you. We just got to, because, let me tell you something. There are people, especially this generation, we want something that is not phony. That isn't a carbon copy. But that's authentic. That's willing to say, I've been there, it hurt, you can make it. Look to the Lord and live. Well, let me tell you something. I was an R&B singer for 17 years in the secular arena. And my father, when I didn't move here to build the kingdom. Pastor Ryan and them moved here to build the kingdom. I moved here because my big brother was murdered. And 3 months before that, my homeboy was murdered. And they both left 1 month. Well, their babies was a month, Mike, was a month when they died. And my pop said, I don't want to leave you here. And at that time, because all wax is all I know, it's on my hand and it's on my neck. At that time, I was like, it's just nothing else here for me. And it was death everywhere I looked. Everywhere I looked. Even now, I keep getting calls. Man, you know, they just gunned him down. They just gunned her down. He said, I don't want to leave here. Come to Atlanta with me. I said, you know what? I'm going to go. I can pursue my career there. They came to build the kingdom. I came to be an R&B singer, to get rich, amen, and to do my thing. I never wanted to leave Cali because you in Cali, you got everything. No offense, Georgia. I love Georgia now. You know what I'm saying? I don't compare it to Cali, but it's Cali. I wanted to buy houses everywhere, but I don't want to live nowhere. I don't want to go to New Orleans. I don't want to go to Atlanta. I was in Cali, and people ask me now, man, what you come here for? Coming here changed my life. I came here. I was pursuing the secular doing shows, released music, was performing in stage plays, connected with so many different people. And he kept saying, do what's in your heart.
That's right.
Do what's in your heart. He was not, and watch this. And the more he would tell me that, I was doing me. And guess who was showing up to my shows? The saints.
That's right.
The saints was at my shows and at my stage plays. My church mother, the last one standing. The saints was showing up, clapping for me while I was performing in loud. They probably was pleading the blood, but they was at the club. They was at the club at my album release party. Guess who was working the door? The saints. The saints. At that time, she was my first artist on my independent label.
Amen.
9 Block ENT. 9 Block is where I'm from, 9 Block, California. And we spelled block with 2 C's, not a CK, because CK is Crip Killer, so you got to put the 2 C's. Am I right, Minister Elect Mike? Sister Phyllis knows she a true blood. And I wasn't no gang member, but I was associated. But watch this. The saints.
That's right.
And then I was armor bearing him on the road.
Right.
Doing praise and worship. Singing in the church. But I was still saying, I'm not going to play with you, God. I'm not committed to this. I'm just doing this because I love you and I'll give you, because you have spared my life, because I probably would have been dead. And watch this. Lo and behold, doing me, I slowly watched God, because now I have my identity. I didn't come here to be forced to be an apostle, or forced to be a pastor, or forced to be a prophet. I came here, was well in the church, but I was able to be me and exercise my dream. With no reservation. We're not feeling like, oh, I got to live up to this standard right here. To the place where the more I was finding my identity, the more I found out that my identity was a God's identity. And the more I didn't want that other stuff anymore. When I first moved here, I had clubbed so much because I used to host parties. Mike tell you, I had a 5-bedroom house. We used to take all the furniture out of the house and we would have 5-room booms because you didn't want people to mess up your furniture. Ask Mike, we would take carpet out and everything, and when they put it all in the backyard, put tarps over, and when they leave, put everything back in real nice and neat. And we would have 5-room booms. When I came here, I stopped clubbing. And because purpose was meeting me here, I didn't know that. 2 months before I got here, my wife stopped smoking. And then we linked up. And then we met. And then we started being celibate. The only way I would go to a club is if I was performing. Other than that, I was coming home. I ain't been to some of the biggest clubs here. I went to Magic City, and because they told us we had to throw money to perform, I said, man, we ain't finna throw no money at the strippers to perform. The guy said, y'all trying to get rich down here in Atlanta off us. I'm the artist. Y'all supposed to pay me. I ain't throwing no money. So I ain't even been to Magic City. You know, look, I'm like, hey, I don't care if it's yeah, man, you know, we're going to let you in, you got to throw $100. I'm not throwing. So anyway, the more I'm connected to my real identity, the more I didn't like certain things. Because the real me was awakened. And you can't find yourself living in somebody else's shadow.
Right there.
Go ahead.
You know, and I have come to find out, and I do love my dad. You know what I'm saying? Because he's the bishop of 34 churches. And God has showed me that he can only take me to a certain point. And sometimes somebody else has to carry you and to show you the rest of the way. And when I came to Georgia, you know, I was already, you know, in church and everything. And, you know, my husband wasn't saved yet and everything. But one apostle came to a ministry and prophesied to my husband. And after he prophesied to my husband, God told me my dad was on his way transitioning. And I had left Georgia. And when I came back, God told me to find this man of God and this woman of God. And so I was like, God, how am I going to find them? I don't know where to find these folks at. I don't even know who they are, but you tell me to go look for this man. And so my sister was taking me to visit other churches, and I said, listen, I don't need to hear no more hoop. I don't need to hear no more holler. If somebody else hoop or holler at me, I'm not going to nobody else's church until God reveal this man to me or bring him to me. I'm not moving. And that Sunday, my sister and I was arguing about where we're going to go eat at. Because I like to eat at Applebee's, and she didn't want to eat at Applebee's. And we argued for about 20 minutes. And she said, well, I guess, come on, we're going to go to Applebee's then. And so when we walked up at Applebee's, they sit us right across from them two.
Wow.
And I was like, I've been looking for you. And he was like, huh? I was like, yeah, I've been looking for you. God told me to find you. And he was like, you know, my church is right down the street. I love this man of God. He's an awesome father. He is, and she's an awesome mother. And when they see that gift in you, I know who I am, and I know whose I am. And because they see the gift, they push you, but they don't put pressure on you. They give you a choice. Either you're gonna do it or you're not.
Right.
I have a 27-year-old son who went to prison. And he had a basketball scholarship and a football scholarship, and he turned it down to stay in New York with my brothers because they all sell dope. And because he stayed in New York, he got into some trouble with the police. And so he got locked up, and they pulled, his dreads came all the way to his butt. They pulled his dreads out of his scalp, and they beat my son till they couldn't beat him no more. And my sister called me. She said, Shonda, Chris ain't Chris no more. I said, what do you mean Chris ain't Chris no more? She was like, Shonda, he don't even look the same. They beat him so bad. I said, ain't you supposed to be an apostle? Ain't you supposed to speak life back into my child? Ain't you his aunt? You know the word just like I do. Speak the word. So she went to see him and everything. And so he got out of prison. He came to Georgia. When I say my son weighed 98 pounds when he got to me, if you said boo, he was like this. You know what I'm saying? He was in Rikers Island. So I called New York, and I was talking to the head AC, and this man said to me, you know what it is. You've been to prison before. The same way you've been there, he got to take care of his own. I said, let me explain something to you. I'm not that one to play with. I said, I will come to New York in that same woman's prison that's across from the men's. I'll be sitting in there again to see you. I said, don't make me go back to my old way. Because that old way was coming back because that's my child. Yeah, right. You see what I'm saying? He might have done some wrong stuff, but y'all didn't have to do that to him. And then God spoke to me. And God said, hold on, wait a minute. God said, this is not your path. This is his path that he chose. Right. He said, but I can work a miracle still in this path right here. Right. He said, where's your faith at? Because see, the old me wanted to come back now. Because I was ready to go to war. I was ready to call up my boys and stuff. And I was ready to go do some damage. Because that was the old me. That's how the old me handled it. But the new me wanted to just, my nerves all bad and I'm crying. And God said, but I thought you said you trusted me. And I was like, God, I do trust you, but that's my son. He said, but he belonged to me first. Mm-hmm. And then I have a 15-year-old who asked me, matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, he said, Mom, am I supposed to carry on with the tradition? I said, huh? He said, am I supposed to carry the torch? I said, your walk with God is how God taught to you and how God tells you to walk. I can't make you do anything. I said, but I can show you the right way. That's it. I can only show you the right way, but you got to make a choice. Right. It's a choice that you make. Right. And see, and a lot of times, parents don't understand, and they get so judgmental because we're pre-K kids. And I had got to the point, even back then, I don't care what you think about me. Yeah, I'm a bishop's daughter, and what? So what? Right. You know what I'm saying? Your kids ain't no better than mine.
Say I still
you know what I'm saying?
That way.
Yeah.
But see, come on. And then we come into you.
I just wanted to add something. When you were talking about who we are, we talk about how Jesus' blood speaks, but his blood is not the only blood that speaks. All blood speaks. If you go to a good doctor, the first thing he's going to want to know is he's going to take some blood. Then he can diagnose and give you a prognosis. And we need to know who we are. We need to know where we came from. I need to, sometimes we don't know this. But before we marry somebody, we need to go and see them crazy uncles. Go to the family reunion. Go see how that boy treats his mom. Go see how she treats him. Go see how they act in another. Take it in public. A lot of times we like to date in private. No, go out in public and see how they act. you know, so the blood does speak. The blood of our ancestors is crying out. The Bible tells us that our ancestors' blood is crying. But you need to know, something, like you said, some things we're dealing with is because we don't know our history. So we need to know our family history. The doctor gonna want to know your family history. Did your mama suffer with diabetes? Did your daddy have heart problems? Was your daddy crazy?
That's right.
No, he didn't. They want the blood speaks. So we need to know our history of who we are. But thank God we have been adopted.
Right.
So we got a new DNA.
That's good.
Amen.
Come on, Josiah.
For y'all don't know, I'm Josiah. Son of Adams. I am a PK. He gonna kill me if I say it, but he is a bishop. He has 3 churches, and I've been in church my whole life. Godparents, pastors, apostles. My whole life I've been in church, and it caused me to run away from the church. For the longest, and I think the major problem I think with me was when I was young, they forced the title on me. Of this is what you're going to be, or this is what God is calling you to be. And me being young, I didn't understand that. I didn't want that. I didn't want to be there. And to be honest, I'm still trying to run away from it, even though I'm battling with God right now, and He's getting the best of me. It did get to the point when I was 15 years old, my parents did leave me in Chicago, homeless, because it got to the point where they were just like, we can't take it. All my brothers and sisters talking out of jail, getting locked up, had murder charges on me. Thank God I made it to the Marine Corps. Amen. To the truth. And I think, like, when I think about it now, being a PK, it was like really hard. And it's like, children church coming up, you gonna preach. You gonna do this. Or you gonna do this, not giving me a choice. I didn't want to preach. I didn't want to pray for everybody. I didn't want to do this. But it was that. You get suspended. A lot of people in my parents' churches was like principals or teachers of mine. Right. So it was always a different reaction. Are you doing this? I'm going to call Ms. Adams. I'm going to call this. I'm going to call your daddy. I'm going to call this. And it's like, wow. So it was a lot of pressure on me to cause me to run away from it.
No, you done. You can't let me finish.
You done?
Nah. But, like it did. It caused me to like really run away from the church. And I guess a major problem now is that the title that they try to force on that it caused me to run away because they don't understand it yet. And nobody really sat down and explained to me what was the purpose of it. I don't say they said prophet. You hear it now. If you and my dad or my mom talk to me, or even my brothers and sisters, they call me the prophet or they call me J Prophet. And I tried, for the longest, I tried to run away from it. I did not want it. Right. I did not want it at all. And it was like, being a PK it was really hard. It was really hard to the point that, when I turned 16, I did get together. I came to Georgia. I promised my mom I'm going to change. And when I came back, it was like a whole new life. They didn't force it on me to go to church no more. It was something that I walked back into. Something I walked back into. And when I went to the Marine Corps, I lost it again. But now that I had came back, I see myself now coming back to church. Now actually getting back to church, actually understand it. Right. And that was that's something.
That's good. That's good. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
I want to piggyback on that. That title, that was it right there. I ain't even gonna cap to you. That title, growing up, and me and my mom had a discussion all the time. Growing up, I was always told, my dad a preacher too, so I'm stuck both ways. It ain't no lead, point blank, period. So growing up, you're gonna be like your daddy, you're gonna be a preacher, you're gonna be like your mom, you're gonna be a prophet. You're gonna do all this, etc., bishop, apostle, and all that. But only one person, two people broke that down to me. Cause I used to be like, I don't want to be no preacher. I ain't trying to stand in no pulpit and talk to the congregation. You know what I'm saying? Because in my head, I used to see so much in the congregation to the point I'm like, I don't even want to speak to y'all. But I like that you said that because you and Apostle Brown, they broke this down to me. They was just like, in a way, preaching don't always mean you're going to stand in a pulpit.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to always stand in a pulpit. Me, I don't care. You can look at me, judge me. I done been in the streets. I done did a lot. And I'm only 20 years old. I done seen a lot. Actually trying to follow the footsteps of my father. That's true. I was trying to follow the footsteps. Oh, my dad did this back in the day. Everybody tell me, yo, well, your dad sold this, when your dad this, that. Okay, say no more. I'm about to do the same thing. Never had to sell not one nick or nothing. Because I was spoiled. I was taken care of. Whatever I wanted, my father made sure I had it. Mama made sure I had it. But no, I'm a rebel. I like being ignorant. I tell people a lot. I'm in Jesus' ignorant section. Which ain't always bad, because I'm one of his Peters. He's still working on me.
Right.
And that's what I tell people. But when you put a title on somebody,
That's right.
that's like basically forcing them or trying to push them in a direction that may not even be meant for them. And everybody's not meant to be a preacher or a prophet, because some of y'all can't even handle that.
That's true. There you go.
There's a way.
There you go.
People don't understand that. Y'all put weight on people. Oh, yeah, you want to be a prophet. Now I'm carrying prophet situations and prophet issues and stuff that I can't deal with. But I like that you and Apostle Brown broke that down to me. My aunt, big dog right here, y'all already know how we rock it. He broke that down to me. He said, stop looking at it like that. That don't mean you don't be in no pulpit. I could bring probably, I say like this. Say for instance, a preacher out here bring 1,000 people to church. I go out in the street, I bring 1 million to church. You think God gonna look at me funny because I brought 1 million from the streets? I might have to get down with them to change them. But I brought 1 million to my master, to my king, to my father.
Right.
While your preacher bought 1,000.
Come on.
And really bought 1,000 just by,
Come on.
Right.
oh, God gonna do this, God gonna give you that. I don't want no materialistic preacher.
Come on.
I need a real preacher.
Right.
Somebody that can touch my issue.
I wanted to talk on the flip side because I'm not a preacher's kid who's going to church every day, so I don't know that experience. But just talking just from a home experience, my mother was constantly controlling what she wanted me to do, how she wanted me to dress, what she wanted me to say. And she even tried to control what she wanted me to be in life. She wanted me to be a nurse because she was being a nurse. And really, I just wanted to go to school for business. So I went to college for a whole year trying to pursue my mother's dream, trying to be who my mother was being. And that's why I think it's so important that we find our own identity, because we're trying to portray an identity from our parents, and sometimes they don't know who they are.
That's right.
So that's what I'm saying. I think it's very important that we figure out who we are.
Okay.
I want to piggyback off that, because that situation, actually something like that caused a rift between me and my mother's relationship. Because as y'all see, honey, my mama is dangerous. She gonna do it, and she gonna do it well. Whereas you have me, I'm a whole tomboy. I prefer my Jordans. You keep your ears, mom. I don't want my feet hurt no day. You do it. But one day, we were having a conversation, and she being my mom, when we met, she was just like, I don't understand. As much as I get dressed, you just don't care. I looked her in her face, in her eyes. I said, I am not you, and I don't want to be you. I said, so how you think I would feel? Like, you make me feel like I'm an embarrassment to you, and I feel like you're an embarrassment to me. Because when I step outside, for example, Mom, I couldn't do anything. My life was church, school, and home. Wasn't no parties and no sleepovers. Pastor Will wasn't happening. And I told her one time, I felt like you made me antisocial. Because every time I wanted to go out, I couldn't, because you somewhere like, we going to church. So I was like, don't tell me I embarrass you, when I sometimes feel like you embarrass me. And tears began to flow down her eyes, because she was like, I never sat back and actually looked, because I was like, Mom, you being my mom, your words carry a lot of weight. Yes. So if I see you every Sunday, you don't think they see it too? And then they look at me and they be like, what's going on with you? And it caused me to have a lot of self-esteem issues. Like I couldn't stand it. And even to this day, I hated coming in church because I knew somebody was going to tell me, Alexis, you look a mess. No, you look a mess. Your life a mess and your spirit a mess. Don't come to me again. Don't come to me again. Because my thing is, the Bible tells me to come as I am. And I seriously thought that my Father, because when we leave here, we leave this flesh here. So this ain't going, this ain't going, and this ain't going. So I don't think God is looking. When he see me, he don't see this. He don't see this. So why do you? And why? And I tell my mama, the problem with the saints today is y'all too busy worried about what somebody got on and not their souls. I got a problem.
It's so crazy because it's like you're the flip side of me. Because in front of the world and in front of our family, my mama wanted us to be so perfect. We had to look picture perfect. Don't say nothing. Don't turn away. Does your hair gotta look like this? Put that outfit on. This, that. And I was like, I finally came in one day. I said, you never let me do what I want to do, what I want to wear. What you want to wear, Nikki? What I want to wear. I'm not you. I can't do what you're doing. So it's just crazy that you say that. Like, we're both 22. We're sitting on the other side. I'm not young. It's cool.
It's really crazy. I like hearing how y'all stories and stuff. And like, we didn't grow up like that. Me and my brothers too didn't grow up like that. Me and my brothers too. My mama didn't make us go to church every day. My mama used to go to church every Sunday. But when she did become a pastor, I did notice a lot of people started putting her up on the pedestal. Like, she gotta wear these, she gotta wear that. Like, I ain't gonna lie, they brought her so many clothes. And like, you gotta wear these, you gotta wear that. And she was wearing them too for a minute, you know. And it kind of rolled out on her. She used to be like, well, how do you look like these? How do you wear these? How do you do this? But over time, it was just like, well, she made the decision, I'm not gonna wear these. I'm not gonna look like this. I ain't gotta look like this. I can still be me because it ain't in my clothes. It ain't in my hair. It ain't about all that. And she. I love my mom. I just see what y'all go through. And we ain't never had to go through that. It was always like, well, you know, just don't come there looking crazy. Don't come there with your pants falling down. Don't come there with bandana on your gold out in your mouth and stuff. So I just. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Like, I really appreciate it.
But you know what? We coming to you right now. I just want to say this thought. Nothing is one way. Me giving you things that God has given me, or him sharing his story, or you sharing your story, is not to sway the room.
That's right.
It's to help the majority that's in that, because I didn't even know y'all had stuff in common.
Right.
Y'all got stuff in common. You know what I'm saying? It's certain individuals. There's some in here that have that in common with you as well. But it's a good thing. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is about resolution. So it's not that everybody just had the worst experience. And it's not that, because I tell people all the time, yes, I grew up in church. It was church, but I didn't have a bad childhood. I had a great childhood. I just there were things that happened that I remember that, you know, but I had a great childhood. I love my mama. You understand what I'm saying? I love people. You know, so it didn't give me this messed up mind towards life. You know what I'm saying? You know, but a lot of things did happen. A lot of stuff was forced. A lot of stuff wasn't explained. There was a lack of communication, things of that nature. But I like that we all have different experiences, and that's what this is about, because we can sharpen one another. And we can learn from one another's experiences. And we can learn, okay, because I'm going to come to that in a minute. What were some of the things that you did? What was your mindset? Because, see, some more PK parents should have been here today.
That's right.
Amen.
That's right.
Because what was your mindset in raising your kids in church? You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of people and a lot of us didn't have balance. The strong ones fought and they made it out okay. But there are many still suffering and struggling because that balance, it hindered them. The strong ones, and we gotta understand, there's always gonna be a strong one out of every team. You got that one that's like, I made it, yeah, it happened, but I'm okay.
I'm not blaming the church. I'm not blaming mom and daddy. I'm living. Come on, let me hear. I want to hear from you. You're supposed to be up here tonight on this panel, but she talked to me. She did communicate. Praise the Lord.
I did grow up. I'll be 29 next month. And out of 29 years, I grew up 23 years of my life in the church. My mom's a minister. My godfather, who raised me, the Lord took him home today. He raised me, and so I've been in the church all my life, pretty much. And I agree with a lot of things that has been said. I had this conversation with my mom a few months ago, and I told her, I said, growing up in the church, you guys always made sure that we knew how to pray, we knew how to fast, we knew the Bible, but y'all always forgot to tell us how to deal with spirits, the real issues. You always said, oh, that's just the devil. But what I'm supposed to do when the devil come like this? Oh, that's a spirit, go pray. But what's the real issue? It's a real issue down there. It's not just on the surface, it's something that's on the inside. But people, like, a lot of times as being in the church and being godly-like, we always want to put everything on God or make everything spiritual. Whereas when you're talking to children, get on their level. Bring it to them. They can understand it better. Don't just say, oh, go pray about it. How am I supposed to pray? What am I supposed to tell the Lord? This is not just, oh, go pray about it, and then 20 years later, here I am. Now I'm in a situation. Now I can't function in life because the spirit been on me and you never loosed it. And a lot of times, as being preachers or being preacher kids, a lot of people do look for you to not make mistakes, like you're faultless. You can't sin, you can't mess up. But at the end of the day, one thing I know every last one of us have in common is when something happens, we know who to call. Something happened to your friends around, they gonna tell you, hey, you pray. Hey, you can touch God more than I can. So at the end of the day, there's a balance there. And no matter what we go through, no matter what sin or whatever mistakes we make in life, we always know uphill where we're going, where we need to be. And I tell people all the time, if you look at me, you won't know who I am. You won't know my daddy was a preacher or my mom is a preacher. You can't look at me because I'm not them. They live their life. I grew up Pentecostal. I mean, skirt to the floor, past the ankle, chapel scarf, dog, whatever y'all call it on your head. No, I got my ears pierced when I was 22. First piercings I ever had. I grew up Sunday morning, Sunday night, Tuesday, Wednesday night, Friday night, Saturdays. It was no breaks. I didn't have friends. My friends didn't understand my lifestyle. I didn't understand it either. I had to go with the flow. If my friends came to stay tonight, they said, oh, we got to go to church. Yeah, my mama, yeah, we going. But at the same time, it brought balance in my life because I know Jesus. And I know who he is. And it doesn't matter how far off you stray, no matter how far you go, you still know who he is. But a lot of times I feel like, especially as being parents, spiritual parents, sort of say, you guys have to be honest. You don't like to be honest. You like to make it look good, like you live this good life all your life. Sometimes you got to tell your daughter, I was an HOE at one point. It'll help her come out of me. Too, baby. You understand? They call them out. I mean, that's how you have to be honest because a lot of times, especially as being church kids are the most depressed people in this world. People who grew up in the church become the most depressed people in this world because they feel like, hey, nobody listens to them. Nobody understands. If I go to my mama, she just go pray over me. I don't need prayer. I need somebody to get on my level and understand. So, I mean, I don't have too much to say, but that's a little insight. That's a little insight.
Thank you for letting us in.
Amen.
So what I'm hearing, I want to come over here. What I'm hearing, because we're gonna come to a resolution, is that some people had on a level 10, far extreme, just burst experience. Some people had, 7 and 5. Some people had a 2. Like, hey, I get it. I know that our upbringing, it was
understand it, but they didn't always understand everything that they did. I'm not sitting here, because everybody know me, I don't even bash people that deserve to be bashed. I'm not sitting here doing this to mama, daddy, pastors, none of that. I respect those who have paved the way, because you paved it the best way you knew how. I learned that my mama and them didn't grow up getting compliments from one another. So when she came here and she saw me and she had saw that her son had purchased the house, her saying, "I'm proud of you," to me, she stood in my hallway and she said, "Look at Murray." That was her way of saying, "Wow, baby boy, you did it. You're doing it." You know what I'm saying? And so through my maturity, because I didn't learn to love my mother until I was 17. I was very bitter towards her coming up. But I learned to love her by 17 because God showed me. He said, a lot of things she did it out of love, but she did it out of her experience.
Right.
And so I would challenge every PK, every CK to dig deep and try to understand where your parents may have been coming from in their attempt to give you the best life. Some already feel like, man, I had a great experience. That's wonderful. I know my nephew here, he don't have no comments because he feel like, I know it ain't. I feel like it's a pretty great experience. And that's great. But for the... Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Well, okay, but hey, the eyes don't lie. Look. But you know, being the overseer that he is, you know, he's just taking it all in. But the Lord dealt with me with some things that they did was out of their experience. They couldn't communicate with you that well because they didn't have a good communicator in their life. They could, you know, they couldn't tell you how to be you because nobody even told them how to be them.
That's right.
Yeah. So they didn't know how to tell you, like how I try to tell my son, like, this is your lane, son. This is daddy's lane. This is your lane. Because I understand that it's hard to try to be in another man's shoes. But I watched my father do his best to make sure that I could be me.
That's right.
That I could be me. And say, no, I love you just like that. They were wearing fitted clothes when I was, I'm talking about, I had on 3X talls, t-shirts.
Yes.
Baggy pants. Mike over there, you know. I'm talking about, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, you had the basketball pants, you had the basketball shorts under there, so you was like a triple sag. So you sang in the basketball shorts and sang in the pants off of them. But the 3X tall, you couldn't tell because that was all the way down here. But I learned. Oh, you know, shoe game always. Let me tell you something. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? I got to give them that word. Shoe game was always great. But I learned that their experience, whether they came up through a hard mama, a hard daddy, no mama, no daddy, a drug life, or having all these kids and having to learn how to try to work with them all. They were literally doing their best. And the best thing they gave us, I'm coming to you right now, and then we're coming to Apostle. The best thing they did give us is they got us to Jesus. They didn't know how to give us the proper balance. They didn't know how to say, hey, balance this. But they knew he deserves to be on the scale. And it was forced, and it was overdue, it was overdone because they knew, no, he needs to be at the top. I can't tell you why or the significance of it. All I know is that you can't ever let him sit down here. So I feel like if I push enough of it into you, and if I force it on you, if I try to shape you, even though I'm really not trying to change, because I love you as my daughter, as my son. I do love you like you are. But I'm caught up in this system myself. That, yeah, we do it for the Lord, but it's also a system. And
politics to it. And these politics, you know, have to go like this because I am who I am.
Talk real good, sir.
And so I don't know how to tell you how to balance it, because what you do affect me, even if you ain't doing nothing at all. Even when I'm here, I'm present, and you're not, people looking for you. So I understand, I came to understand that. And I wanted to make sure that we understand that tonight. And as we come to this resolution, after we take these next two,
I have two sons. And one loves to dress. He will put on a suit and a New York Minute. Went to school. He didn't wear a suit to school, but he always dressed. My oldest son, y'all know him.
Yeah, that's my boy.
That thing, that boy, that clown, that nut, he gonna sag, he gonna do, because he's his own person. But he come one day and he said, teach me how to pray. He said, I want to pray like you. I said, well, you can't pray like me. Develop your own. I said, just like you talking to me, that's how I talk to him. So I don't go with the these, thou, and the other things. I said, I just talk to him. I just be real with it. I said, so develop that. I said, don't be trying to sit up. I said, I heard it all in church. Don't try to sit up and find how we did it in church. You develop your way. My youngest son, you go to work, you'll see him. Every time you see him, he's singing. He got a ditty. He always got a little ditty in his mouth. He always sing. His wife will even tell him, man, can you ever stop singing so much? He loved it. Church. He's always singing a church song. Always reading his Bible. Philip is totally the opposite. My most rebellious child is the one that reads the Bible. That's always singing. Always love church. On the praise team. Philip, when he get in trouble, call Apostle. Call Pastor Murray. I said, call Jesus. You call Jesus. Now, you taught me something tonight. You, because I stay on him about his attire. First time, well, not first time, but when he got on the suit, I sent a picture to Apostle and Pastor Murray. I always tell him, for real, you got to go in there looking like that? You're going to embarrass me? You're going to do this? He said, the Bible said, come as you are. I said, look here. I said, you said, only for so long, because you already know. You know the way. I get on my nieces. Don't do that. And that's because I'm prissy. I'm a girly girl. I love to dress. I learned it from my grandmother, and all them folk came along. But to hear y'all say the things that you're saying, I wanted to develop my own way. So it brought back to my mind where I would tell my sons, I want you to make mistakes. I could make mistakes when I was growing up. I said, but I want you to make mistakes, because I want you to learn from that mistake. I want you to say, I made this mistake, I failed, I did this. I said, but find a way to say, I'm going to do this again. I said, I want you to go drink. I'm just going to pray that you don't become an alcoholic. I want you to try some drugs. I just pray you don't get addicted. I said, now really and truly, I'm not telling you to go smoking. I'm not telling you to go smoking. I'm not telling you to snort. I'm not telling you to shoot up. But I can't prevent you from doing those things. Because they always say a woman can't raise a boy. But I did the best I could with those two as a single mother. But I told them, I said, only thing I say to you, promise me you'll never do. Don't put your hands on a woman, because you don't want a man to put his hand on me. Amen. Don't ever in life. Now my youngest son, you push him, he gonna push you back. And I said, don't ever call a female a B word. I said, treat a female the way you want a man to treat me. I said, I had a heart. I said, now, I didn't have a hard life. I said, but things happened to me in my life as I was growing up. I said, I got raped, but not from a family member. I said, minding my business in school. I was working in school. I said, but I don't want you to go out and do it. If she say no, let no be no. Don't take it. If it ain't freely given to you, don't take it. But cover yourself. I tell them those things. And I tell them, I said, but I want you to make mistakes. You may go to prison. You may go to jail. And if you do wrong, you do the crime, you're going to do the time. I can't tell you I'm going to be there for you. Especially in your wrong. But in your right, I'll be there. So I tell them, I said, but I can't even make you go to church. You choose where you want to go because you're old enough now. But I'm going to come find. I'm going to come see where you at. I'm going to sit in there and I'm going to hear to make sure you're being taught right. I can't make them come to a place of worship. Do I want them to? Oh, for God's sake, yes. Because I know, and I said, I can turn my back, I can close my eyes. I said on the street, I said, these people teach real.
Right.
They tell the truth. The first time Philip came and heard Apostle, he sat in the back of the church and he sent back that text and I was getting pissed off. I was mad as HE2 hockey sticks. And Apostle said, you don't want to be in here? There's the door. Get the hell out. He raised his head up. When he said hell again, he raised his head up again. By the third time, and he said hell, he was in. He had that boy's attention and ain't lost his sense. He said, I love him because he saw that he was real. When he ministered to him, it was all over for him. Because now he on the floor. Because he felt, can't no preacher reach him. He felt he was unreachable by a preacher. But when he grabbed him, he grabbed it. And I thank God for that. So I tell him, I said, you stay close. Get you a covering. Don't be out here running willy-nilly. Be in a church and have a covering. I said, I ain't got to be your covering. Mama can't always be covering. I said, we got prayers stored up. But learn to pray for yourself.
I wanted to encourage. I saw for a second. We have all, we don't talk about the pastors and we don't went all in. But as a PK, I learned something from my Uncle Warren, and I don't think he realized how he touched me this Sunday. I want to encourage all of the church kids and all of the pastor kids because I fell into this category. Be careful. Be careful not to hate the calling upon your parents' life. They did not call themselves. And you will find yourself in danger with God.
Yes, ma'am.
When you start doing that. Uncle one Sunday said something that really touched me. He said, most people don't understand. PK kids and church kids are some of the most neglected children there are. Because here we are, we stand in this pulpit, we covering all of y'all children while our children are left.
That's right.
To deal with what they've been attacked. Based not even off of themselves, just because of my calling. But I want to encourage the PKs and the CKs. Don't find yourself in that place. You don't want to be in danger with God. Remember, they didn't call themselves. They walked into it, answered the call, and did what God asked them to do. And that's why you stand where you stand today.
Listen. We had us standing up back there. I want to say, Alexis, that was my first question that I was going to send, and I'm going to ask all 5 people a question quick on the panel. My question was going to ask, can you love the assignment, or should you hate the assignment of your father and mother? And because you got up and say that shows me, and it showed us as a people, because I'm not a CK kid, I'm a church kid. I am a church kid, but I'm not a PK kid because nobody in my family was saved.
Right.
All of them was full of the devil. and I'm going to tell you something. I didn't come to church like y'all came. Because see, I had aunts fighting with each other, pulling pistols out and shit. I had family members going to witchcraft work trying to hoodoo each other.
I got uncles beating the ham and cheese out of their wives and pulling pistols out on folks. And we had brawls, family, neighbors brawling against. And where I come from is different from Watson County and different from Bankhead. Or when I say Bankhead, I'm not calling you Bankhead, but y'all Georgia, y'all from Georgia. But Bankhead is known to be one of the baddest places here in Atlanta. Bankhead and Decatur and all those places. I didn't come up. I come from the swamps of Louisiana. And in that swamp of Louisiana, if me and nephew was fighting, or my mom and his mom was fighting, and then we got to school, we start beefing. Now, if he whipped me, then what happened is my cousins were all at school, because it was 4 of us went to school together. So we all jumped on him and his siblings, but now his mama mad again. She would go to the witchcraft worker on my mama. See, that's how they battled in where I came from. So I grew up with seeing people looking like they was 9 months pregnant, and they weren't pregnant at all. I saw people literally barking and doing crazy stuff. So my partner, I came to church. This church was my safety place. Church was my place where I came to find comfort. It was where I came to find consolation. Because I saw all that crazy stuff going on. And I remember one day saying, Mama, Grandmama, I'm going to church. She said, you better not come back here speaking all that stuff, that hoodoo stuff that the people got down there in that church. And I looked at what you did. I looked at the porch, I said, how y'all gonna talk about hoodoo when y'all do all the do and the who they got up in America? You understand? But I ran to the church. And I heard Maria Gardner and Mother Elsie Shaw. Y'all don't know these people. They're going on. Elsie Shaw is going on to be with the Lord now. But she said, when your heart is overwhelmed, Lord, lead me to a rock that's, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that definition of that meant. I didn't know the perception of it. All I knew, my heart was hurting. And when he said, when your heart is overwhelmed, I figured overwhelming and it was the same thing. And I just come running to the altar. I was the only kid at the prayer in the little country swamps. Everybody else was playing basketball, football, but I had a grandmama. I had aunties and uncles. I had 126 cousins. I had so many folks. I said, God, if don't nobody stand, I got to stand up and stand in this gap. And I was a young boy. So my experience coming to church and my love and affection for the church is a little different from you guys. I was pampered in the church, but I ain't let that bother me. Because you know why? I felt one day I'm going to become grown. I'm going to be the hell out of that preacher that shows my name is what it is. And so from that, I learned to just say whatever I want to say. But you know what? I got to this place. I wish parents was here tonight.
That's right.
To hear, because we want resolution for our children, but we don't want to have resolution for our actions. See, the resolution comes for our children, and we thank God for that. But where's the resolution for our action? You understand? Because there are some hurting children. I looked over at this brother over here, and for the last 2 days, I'll talk about it later. But here's the thing I want to say. I want to say this. We was all talking about our parents, our children being, what our parents want our kids to be. But most kids, what's the difference between, and this is for you, what's the difference between you being this preacher that your dad and your mama is? You're finding out what your daddy used to do. And it was so easy for you to want to do that. And both of them have the same cause and effect. They can make you bitter. They can make you damaged. They can take your life. Either one. Being in church and being frustrated and seeing a lot of stuff can make you go do something stupid and lose your life. Getting out there going to do what your dad did can get your life taken.
Well, to be honest, when I think about it now, I really didn't have a reason. Didn't know why I was doing it. I would say if I was. I think
this is what I want. I wonder what was the difference being that and being over here. Because I'm rich. I understand the point. Just in case somebody's watching it. Somebody's what time?
Earlier, he said the reason he did that was it was pure rebellion.
Right, I got that. But the difference, the question I'm asking, the difference between me being with my father is now, then choosing to be with my father was then. That's not rebellious. That is.
You ask me what's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference?
Well, the difference for them is being in the streets, not knowing what my father really went through in the streets or what he saw in the streets. I went for myself just to try, but the difference was the experience I had was kind of traumatizing. Wow. I seen a lot of things that probably they couldn't see, or Lexus couldn't see, or maybe you couldn't see, or somebody else couldn't see. So I felt like the longer I stay in here, I was losing partners left and right.
Right.
I'm talking about at 15, 16, 17. A lot of people I done lost. Our class was short. We lost, I think I see here, we lost probably like 10, 15 boys. Just off shootings. So, me being what he is now, even being what my mom is now, I can honestly say I'm probably more safe than I've ever been in my life.
All right.
And the reason I say that is because I remember a night, and I don't want to be out, but I remember a night we was at a party, and this boy came in, never been to a party, ever, never did anything. It's the first time coming into a party, and I'm over here. It's funny that you said that she a big blood, because that's all I hung with. That's what I was affiliated with. So I'm hanging with all these gangbangers, and you know, I'm kicking it. I'm posted. I'm protected. I got my little 9mm on me, so I'm feeling good. Boy comes in. I watched this boy jump on this girl because she wouldn't dance on me. So with him seeing that, he grabbed the boy like, what's wrong with you? What's going on with you? You don't do that to a girl. All we heard, the boy walked outside, we heard 2 gunshots. That's all we heard. They done shot the boy twice in his head. Never been to a party, never drunk, never smoked. He just there because his friend's there. Ever since that night, I even had Bloods tell me, this ain't even for you. We don't even want this for you, but we know your daddy. Something happened to you, it ain't no us. It's over with for us. Pop found all my stuff in the house. He found my stuff. He said, you got to go with your mama. Because I was on the south side. Clayton County was getting broke. I moved to Henry County with Mom, and I can honestly say that was probably the best decision I probably ever made in my life. It saved me, no doubt.
And that's what I wanted to point out, because I hear it, we hear it. As leaders, the culture of a black man, even in Africa, is to make their sons follow their steps. That's the culture. That's just the culture of a man. So I want us to keep this in mind. That I don't think as parents we play the role safe enough. So when Murray was doing what Jamisha do, I tell him all the time, do what's in your heart. But in the meantime, I'm going to pray that the Lord, just his will be done. And I think this is where we as parents, or parents generally messes up by imposing. But I want to say this, we do impose. It's because we know what God said concerning our sin.
Right. That's right.
And Isaiah said that if we give our life to him, great shall be the peace of our children, and it shall be well taught thee. So that doesn't mean you're going to be a preacher. You're going to be this. You're going to be that. But it does play a part, the effective part, that when we as members, because once again, I didn't come from a safe family. Whatever I did wrong, or we did wrong in my family, my granddaddy said my name is at stake. So, and because of that, we, the boys, the grandsons, and his sons, we tried to do the best we could to take care of the Savoy name. And in families, when there is a close-knit family or a patriarch in the family, they want that name to extend. Same way in parenting, in pastoring. We want our name to extend. And we want our names to get to that place to be not so marred by whatnot. So I'm saying just, these are some of the reasons why some parents may say, you know, son, I think you should be a prophet, you know, the Lord's this, that. And some of the Lord told them, and some of they just want you to be that. So, you know, that's the unsafe part. I want to get to the unsafe part.
I wanted to say another difference. Also, when it came to, you know, either you're going to keep doing this or you're going to really do the right thing.
Right.
My life just wasn't at stake. That's the difference. My life wasn't just at stake. It was people that was on my road that life was at stake as well as mine. I had people doing stuff because of me, because of my name. that they would have never done before. But because Jalen is held on a pedestal, if I see Jalen do this, I got to do this. I'm going to fit in with him. And I tell people all the time, be yourself. You ain't got to change who you is around me, because I'm going to be Jalen regardless. Be yourself. But I seen how me being around the gangsters and moving dope and smoking and drinking and all that, I seen how many people was dying on my rope. How many people was falling on my rope. I had a dude tell me, I remember one time, I was giving a dude some type of dope. He was younger than me. He was real younger than me. And I didn't even know what I was doing. I'm just with these boys. Go get that boy this and make sure you get this back. I remember I gave it to him. And the bro, I'm like, how old are you? You know what I'm saying? I'm like 15. I'm like, what you? He was like, I'm 11. I got DJ right there. I got Ari. I got Serenity. I got Sid. I got so many Talaya. I can name 1 million of them. I'll split somebody's wig if I ever seen them giving them any type of drug, drink, or anything. Even when I'm doing it, if I see them, I say, I need y'all to get away from me. I don't want y'all to see me do this. I don't want y'all to look at y'all uncle, y'all big cousin like that. Because at the end of the day, it's on me to make sure y'all have a bright future. And that y'all don't have to make the same mistakes I did. You can look at me and see, oh, he tried that. You don't have to try that.
That's right.
And like you said, it's based on our decisions.
Right. And that's what I'm going to say. That's good that you brought that point, because sometimes as parents, that's what we want. Right. We don't want you to go through what we went through. Right. So we try to give you another title. That's right. And I want these young people to understand that working in the school system in Los Angeles, the system gives you titles already. Right. So as a parent, we give our children titles. Right. We titleize them so that they can have something else opposite than what the world gonna give them. Right. Because the world already said you're good for nothing. The world said you're not going to be anything. But as a mother, as a father, our job is to say you are the prophet of God. Right. You're the woman of God. You're going to change the world. You're going to flip the nation upside down. And sometimes it gets to a place where we say, hey, I don't want this. I don't want this. But then society says, oh, he's black with dreadlocks, so we're going to mark him because he got tattoos. He must be a gangbanger. He must be a dope. So society gives you a title. So either way it goes, we have 2 titles on our life. A title of a demonic realm, and then we have a title of a realm that is our DNA. We're not going to call it a holy realm. We're just going to call it a DNA realm. But then we have the title that's assigned to our life before mom and dad even got together. Right. And it's so awesome because what you just said is powerful. How you don't want them to see that. So as leaders and as parents, we want y'all to see what we go through. The next question I want to ask is, how do we love the assignment that our parents have, or our and not just a church assignment? Because some people have assignment. Look at Martin Luther King's children. Right. They are bitter. They're angry. They're so bitter that they didn't even bring forth a generation. Because they didn't like the fact that their father died. They like the fact of what they had to go through. Right. But how can you love an assignment, Alexis? How can you love an assignment when you feel like I'm not a part of this assignment?
To answer that question, it goes back to, I can't remember who said it, but they said, they led us to God. Right. And one thing I love about my mother is that she imparted into me and Jalen to have your own relationship with God. And me and Jalen have experienced God for ourselves. So when I look at her, even when I see her pain and I see her tears, I know the God that I experienced. And he's the same God yesterday, today, and forevermore. So when she stands in her pulpit, even to hear her say, my mama will tell you in a minute, she'll tell you all her problems, but God. There you go. And to me, if she can stand in this pulpit and take all of the bullets, all of the arrows, all of it, and still say, but God. And he comes in and he shows her, I am still God. I can love the assignment of her life. because I love the God that I serve. I love the God that she imparted on the inside of me.
So it's her response.
Yes.
It's the parent response. That's why
Right.
Rose was here tonight. It is the parents' response that make our children either honor, respect, embrace, love, or desire to be. But when that parent response is ill or misplaced or not accurate or not right, then make our children start to hating the assignment.
Wow. I wanted to just.
I'm going to get back to. I just want to catch these other 2 points because I know we do panels and we start doing a lot of stuff with the panels, and still I know RJ haven't said anything or Monty hasn't said anything, and his question in my head is why not? Because y'all going to go to a place. This is the place why we did this. Family Life Compass was not about shopping and dancing. It was about let me get real with reality, because here's the end of the day, you're given to leave from around us to go into another reality. That reality is going to be stronger and going to be much influential than probably what we have. But what do you do? How do you handle it? Nikki, what do you do when you're under pressure and the pressure seems greater than what has been deposited into your life?
My God.
That's tough. What do you do when you're under pressure and deposit seems more than the pressure? Like Alexis said, in everything that her mother was going through, she still heard her mother said, but God. Watching you two, watching Pastor Murray and watching you two, I see you guys go through so much pressure. I see you guys go through so many people walking away. I see you guys go through so many financial situations, but still in the end, you guys put God first. And as the same thing that you said for her question, when you said the response, the pressure makes diamonds. So the pressure is necessary, but the deposit, I feel, would never be greater than the pressure, because the pressure is supposed to be there. The deposit will only elevate you to the pressure point. So the pressure, I feel like the pressure would never be better than the deposit. But I feel like in the deposit, you get everything that you need to overcome the pressure.
So in other words, the deposit is the germ that caused the pressure to pressurize that germ so the germ turns into a diamond. Because that's all a diamond is nothing but a germ in the earth. And it's been under pressure for so long till it's become what it needs to become. So the answer would be that even when I'm under pressure, the pressure that I'm under is going to make what was deposited in my life be more brilliant, valuable, and wanted. Because who don't want to die? Who wouldn't even steal for a dime? My next question is, when I came and I don't want to, but everybody want me to, what do I do?
Say it one time.
When I can't,
This is good.
when I don't want to, I can't do it. I can't play that organ, and I can't beat them drums. But if I wanted to play that, I would be able to only if somebody would help me. But if I block the person from helping me, then what do I do? Now that's your question, because that's your life.
Say it one more time.
I can, I won't, but everybody want me to. That's what I do. But what do you do? Because remember, it's your choice.
Well, I will do exactly what I would want to do. This is my answer right there. I do what I want to do. Not what they want me to do. To do what I want to do. Because it's my life. You know, not their life. It's my life.
And that is good. The reason why I ask that, because sometimes in our lives, we do stuff that folks want us to do. And in reality, we don't want to do it. And in reality, we can't do it. We can't do it. It's not in me to do it. I don't want to love like you. I don't want to forgive like you. You may not cuss. I want to cuss, because that's the reason I put on this and I go to jail. That's where we are. And I want every young person in this room to never feel like if you go through life that you have to live your life according to anybody else's standards, even down to me. I'm going to love y'all regardless of what y'all are. Because you know why? I done been almost everything that y'all going to try to be. But the only difference is I didn't have anybody love me. So I made a conscious decision that when I became grown enough and healthy enough, that if I found you doing something that you had no business, I'm going to still love you and do what I'm supposed to do to pray you back to your rightful place. But then still let you be who you're going to be. Why? Because diamonds is only made out of the pressure that come through your way, which is called life. I want y'all young people to leave here. I wish these parents was here. Because that brother right there, I watched him for the last month or so and see the darkness that's been over you. And tonight as you talk, I sat back here and I looked and I said, well, God, thank you that you gave me a mind to bring these young folks together. And Pastor Murray got enough sense to be able to do it, the anointing, the presence of God, and to all influenced by him enough. It ain't about me, it ain't about Pastor Murray, but it's the Lord, and we just thank God that we're vehicles. But this room should have been packed enough to hear your cry. Because while you was talking, but there was a cry down on the inside of you. And it wasn't a happy cry. It was a cry that I don't know what else to do. I'm here because I've been invited. But in reality, I don't know which way to go. But tonight, before Pastor Murphy finished doing all that he got to do, the young people in this room, I came in this room rushing all the way out that traffic. And since she got me traffic, I said, me too. To tell us, we're at the fork of the road. But there's one direction you got to go to. After all that we endured, all this conversation, there's one direction. We got to heal that hurt. Yes. That's on the inside. That hurt, because that assignment on some of y'all lives ain't going to never be embraced until those of us that wounded y'all come back and heal y'all. That's right. I know nobody going to want to like this. Ain't nobody going to like this. But y'all will never embrace the assignment of God that's on your lives until those of us that have hurt y'all don't right the wrong, because that's excuses. But heal and go through the pain by sitting down and allowing y'all to tell us where we were. Tell the nurse who dropped that Mephibosheth. Why did you pick me up and drop me like this? Damage me like this. And you left me for David to come and bring me back to the king's table. Every one of y'all got a seat at the king's table. Every one of y'all got a seat that's amazing at the king's table. Even when you can't, won't, and other people want you to. There's a seat at the king's table. But you got to get rid of it when they left you. Because you're still dealing with that moment that they left. And it hurts like hell. And while you're going forward and while you're doing, because you went to the military to prove to everybody else, I can survive. But you're still hurting.
They never came back and fixed it.
And because of that, somebody, I thank God that the power of God is on some leaders enough to say, let me be the David to that Mephibosheth. Right. Let them tears roll, because see, those tears are temporary relief. But God want to heal that dark place, son, that's down in you. And more should have been here to hear, because see, some people can't fix what they don't know. When I say what they don't know, they don't hear it. They hear it from us sitting at the dinner table, just sitting down having a conversation and talking about it. And then they feel they get still stale with it and dumbfounded with it and say, but I did what I was supposed to do. But when they're in an atmosphere such as this, and everybody got to be accountable for what they done, and they can't run from it, and it pulled them to that place to say, I hear my baby die. I hear my son now. I hear him. And why a lot of us in this room, a lot of y'all young folks in this room, you're dealing with that abandonment. Abandonment, and abandonment is just not they left you for somebody else to raise. Abandonment's got a lot of leverage to it. When I needed you, that's why David wrote the writer. He wrote the song, when my mother and father had forsaken me. That doesn't mean he did bad. And when he done everything that they could, they can't do no more. Then the Lord took me out. You got to heal. Jalen, you got to heal. Because there is a God put you in that ground, in that territory with all those people, so you can see where your ministry was and where your ministry is. You got to heal. You got to heal, Alexis. Because there's a line of young women that you got to talk to. This baby here got to heal. You may not be a baby. You got to heal. So you can keep your hands in your pocket. You got to heal because you got a daughter now. A daughter that needs a daddy. And not a daddy that tripped up and did something he had no business doing and he locked up. Got to heal, man. That's me. We ain't nothing about the baby out of the weight line. We over that road. Right. Half of us came and we were strong out of those circumstances. But that little queen over there needs this king to show her what kings are supposed to respond. Say, you got to heal. Yes, God. Because it's not that I can't and I won't. And other people want me to. It's because nobody really taught you. So just look up and breathe, because you're more powerful than what you expect and what you know. But because of abandonment, because of them issues, because you lied to me, you didn't tell me the truth, and you're still trying to damage me even the more. And the hurting thing is, I got to face my past, and don't nobody ever answer. My God. My God. That's why I won't when others want me to. Because I just need to hear as a little boy. I just need to hear the nature of my future talking to me when I was a little kid. And we fail as parents because we don't want to talk to our children's future so that future can start talking to our children. Then our children start becoming false illusions. Everything that we all went through in this room was a false illusion. Some of that stuff wasn't because we was purpose to go through this stuff. We was trying to find ourselves. This is the word of the Lord. I sit here and I listen. And the Lord said, I know my thoughts concerning you. It's good, not evil. And it has an expected end. So I'm killing the devil to let the devil feel like I'm supposed to have an evil influence to have an awesome end. The devil is alive. God knew this thought about me before my mama and daddy got together. But it happened. I'm broken. I'm broken even now. Yes. But you know what helps me? In my broken place, I can go help another broken man. Amen. Because when I see another man or woman become healed, the more healed I become. Right. Amen. Yes. Because what I sow, I begin to reap. Yeah. It's in y'all. It's in you. Pastor Murray told it to y'all. It's in y'all. I tell it to y'all, and I'm grateful that the Lord sent me in some of y'all lives. I told Lady Happy the other day, I picked my own family. I got a whole bunch of nieces and nephews for real. But I got a whole bunch of nieces and nephews for real. Because I picked my nieces and nephews, and I got some that have never let me down. That's right. Oh, yes. I got sisters and brothers that never let me down. Because you know why? in my broken place, I forgot about me being broken.
Yeah.
I said, let me go find somebody that I can heal.
Right.
I saw this brother, 3 years ago on the bus stop.
Oh, yeah.
I turned that car around so fast and let him know that I saw him. And I prayed all the way home. I said, Holy Ghost, whatever he's doing, or whatever's going on this side of town, run him from this side. Let him get home safe. And every time until y'all told me y'all move, I'll go down Rex Road and I plead the blood of Jesus. That's why my nephew hang out on Rex Road. Then when I find out where this nephew live at, now I'm putting myself out there, I went on this street, parked my car on the end, and walked the whole sidewalk and told the Lord, the blood prevails. I said, the blood prevails. I went right in the front of the house and poured all the oil right there in the grass. I said, God, whatever comes to this house that ain't godly, don't let it happen.
Yes.
Why? That's our assignment. Because I know what's inside of you. And I know what's inside of Alexis. And I know what's inside of you. 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 And it's not that I know everything, but I know enough from God to know that your end don't have to be like this. And that we just all come together and overcome by our testimony. Y'all powerful. Y'all unique. Remember that word. Unique. Unique is only talking about you. You are unique. Everybody can't wear this bun top head. And
You
make
got
a
that
ball
right.
lane over there crying.
That's right.
Everybody can't do what I do. Because I'm unique.
Yes, you are.
You hear me? Everybody can't be Pastor Murray. There's some people that this man gonna touch, I will never be able to touch. But I'm gonna stay in the background. And I'm gonna keep on talking. So you might need to say this. Because young people, y'all are so powerful. And what we as adults fail. We fail because we want y'all to become us. And in reality, you should be. But in reality, we gotta let y'all be whatever it is y'all gonna be. And love. Because you know what? Love is a crazy group. It holds all together. And if we stop pointing the fingers at one another and close it up, we can make a powerful punch.
Yes.
So I'm gonna let Pastor Murray take this back over again, but y'all got to heal. Just silent, you got to heal. Because you got sons laying inside of you. And your son's gonna come out hurting. And they won't know why they're hurting. Your daughters are gonna come out hurting, y'all. They don't know why. I told Pastor Murray something 12 years ago. Was it 12 years ago? 11 years ago. I took a white towel that I had. No, a black towel. And I put on the towel, praise is my weapon. And I preached in that towel and I prayed in that towel because we're going for all these treatments. And I told him on the floor, church, I said, nobody gonna love you until you love yourself. And now you gotta go back and forgive. And that's all the girls y'all dealt with. Ask them for forgiveness. Because some people were supposed to be your friend. Some people were supposed to be somebody that you mentor. You done damaged your sister. And you will live through life reaping and sowing. And that stuff won't come back and haunt you. Some things is not a curse. Some things are your retribution. It's what you have sown in the season of the unknown places. Or when you come into the knowledge of Christ or the knowledge of life. Fix those things that is wrong. So look at him today. Got a lovely wife that supports him.
Amen.
Got a lovely son that loves him to death.
Amen.
That comes from fixing you. I only say that because y'all got sons, y'all got sons and daughters in y'all. Don't repeat what y'all do, what y'all going through. Y'all should do.
Amen.
bless God. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight in the Family Life Conference Part 2. You can close that out. This next part is for you.